Good morning. I, I invite you to turn to each other and recognize the worth and dignity of everyone around you. All right. I'm Reverend Bob Renjilian, of the minister here of the Unitarian Universalists of Transylvania County. I welcome you here, whether you're here for the first time or for many times. We're glad you chose this sunny Sunday morning to be inside our, yes, repaired air-conditioned space. Yes, for our gathering this morning. I have a couple of main announcements. The first one, I want to make sure that if you've skipped over hearing this before, that you know it. This main building is closed all next week so that we can run the Adulting 101 teen camp for 13 to 16-year-olds. The Yellow Chalice House is still available for the usual support groups, and we'll put the Thursday men's group in there as well. But if you were thinking, oh, I'm just going to come be in this building, unless you're one of our many volunteers, which I think there may be a couple in here. You want to raise your hand if you're volunteer? I am one of the volunteers, yeah. Teaching various things, thank you very much. We're going to try to keep it just for the camp, thank you. There are a few spots left in the CPR class that UUTC is hosting. We do this so that we can do infant and child CPR for our nursery workers, or help any of our UUTC volunteers be available and understand like how to use the heart thing over there on the wall, just knowing how to respond. But we have a few spaces available. So if you believe you would like to be trained to talk with Tricia or email Tricia at UUTC during the week, and we'll see if you can get one of those last spots, or we could get you on a waiting list for a future session. I will announce, we'll also have another candle, but I will announce again that Saturday, August 2nd, 4 p.m., that's next Saturday here, we will have the memorial service for Buddy Tompkins. Buddy was a brand new member to us, but caught on really quickly with all of us who knew him. He tried out in the choir a little bit, and we will be with his family doing a very simple memorial here at UUTC. We'll also stream it because they have some family members who cannot be here. Those are the key announcements that I wanted to make. The other is a change of music. If you read the order of service that got sent out on Friday, I didn't know that Karen and Scott are doing the music today. And so you can kind of see Karen and Scott already queued up and ready to do everything. And in fact, to help lead us into the wonder of this time together in worship, we welcome Karen and Scott. And John. Oh, and John. No.
Today,
John's back.
today was to be the debut performance of Electric Paddle Faster, and I brought my electric guitar, and we were going to play some stuff that was a little more up-tempo than what we usually do, and we got it all hooked up, and the guitar amp is broken. So we have we conscripted John to help us out, and we'll play an old tune that I have never played from start to finish before, and I don't know that Karen has either. So bear with us, because we got a couple of tunes knocked out because of faulty equipment. And John just might sing a verse.
We figured out about 10 minutes ago, literally, that we were going to do that this morning.
And we thank you. Thank you for helping us out.
Yes. You want to use some of that anymore? I'd like to. Okay. We still have it. It'll be right here. I just saw it.
We will now be doing the chalice lighting, and the we're going to be reading the words of Ned White, chalice lighting in unison. As we light this chalice, we recollect the power enlightenment brings to the shadows of ignorance, the hope compassion brings to the heaviness of oppression, the warmth community brings to the loneliness of isolation. May this chalice inspire us to embody in our own lives enlightenment, compassion, and community, that we may encourage all who seek to work together for the transformation of our bruised and hurting worlds. Our opening hymn will be 318, We Would Be One.
Actually, we're going to do something else first.
Oh. I've got to stop getting, I think I'm losing.
We have a worship retreat coming up next week, and we'll find out. It may be that we really do need to move the hymn. It's where everybody wants it, right? That's fine. This is our time, our candles of joys and sorrows. I know I've left out a few. I've been trying to catch back up again and everything that's going on in the pastoral life of folks here. And so I've got a couple of things I'll read out loud, but we'll also have some nice notes here that were left for us to light candles. And he's here. Where'd you sit? Bob Bennett, good to hear that your procedure and everything is causing improvement. Yes. Candle for continued healing for you, Bob. Thank you for being with us even through all of this. And a candle for Buddy Tompkins and his family, Jamie and his daughter, and the extended family as we lead up into the week towards the memorial service. We also have a request from Bonnie to please light a candle of concern and healing for Barbara Jenowitz, and she has moved to Tori's house 4 and would like visitors over in Tori's house. I avoided it while I had COVID, but I'll be able to get back into visiting people now. But I know that there are people who have been going and connecting, and that is so heartening to hear. That's wonderful. And we also have an anonymous note. Happy birthday to Lisa McHenry. Yay. I know that Eric Young had his surgery postponed, but more is coming up, so we'll light a candle for that. And let's light a candle for, I'm sorry if I forgot anything that somebody had told me, or perhaps things that haven't been shared with me yet. The glow of these candles is just one indication of the warmth and the light that we hold for one another throughout our lives. Thank you.
Opening words. Now I've got it. These are the opening words of Parker J. Palmer. We all need other people to invite, amplify, and help us discern our inner teacher's voice for at least 3 reasons. 1, the journey toward inner truth is too taxing to be made solo. Lacking support, the solitary traveler soon becomes weary of, fearful, and likely to quit the road. 2, the path is too deeply hidden to be traveled without company. Finding our way involves clues that are subtle and sometimes misleading, requiring the kind of discernment that can happen only in dialogue. 3, the destination is too daunting to be achieved alone. We need community to find the courage to venture into the alien lands to which the inner teacher may call us. Come, let us worship. And now, opening hymn 318, We Would Be One.
Catherine, I'm going to do this part over in this area because I'd love for Keith to join me over here, and at some point Tricia and Kevin will walk over this direction too. This way we have microphones. Let's see what is, whichever one this is, when it comes time, I'll say something in here. But you folks probably recognize here Keith Malo has been with us. He's been with us for a couple years now, has just graduated, has plans for the future, and this is Keith's last Sunday working for us. Yeah, so we're recognizing Keith starting on a journey, and that's your parents over there. You've raised a good kid. We love this kid. Keith, would you let us know what your plans are next?
I'm going to University of North Carolina, Charlotte, to get my Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Studio Art and a minor in Art History. And then I plan to go to a 2-year graduate school to get my Master's in Art Conservation.
Yeah. Wow. So nice to hear plans and knowing what's going on. We have a little responsive reading that we would like to say as part of this ceremony with you. I'll do the words in white, you just listen, and the folks in the congregation will read the words in yellow. Keith, you've been with us for a couple of years now. At first, you didn't know us, but you dove in to help us. You thought we didn't notice, but we did. And we're sad that your role with us is coming to an end, yet joyful and expectant as you chart new paths into adulthood. Please remember us, not just for the ways we showed our mistakes, but the ways in which we embraced all people. May you carry whatever of that spirit you caught from us here out into a world that needs you. Happy graduation, and know that you are always a part of us, whether you're far away or when you come back. Congratulations. Now, we have Tricia and Kevin are going to present a gift, and I'm going to present a little something to you too. Great. Back to that microphone.
Just a small token of thanks to Keith for being here with us and all he's done. Just a candle and a little present.
And a little supply of chocolate. And again, thank you so much for all that you have done with us, and we hope that you have felt loved and valued in this space, and that maybe you'll remember us fondly into the future and whatever you do. And to your parents, honor you and all that you have done to raise this wonderful child. My wife has said out loud, and we noticed this with our own kids, as our eldest and next oldest went off to college. Why do parents burst into tears when they have gotten their child to the point of adulthood that they were always hoping for? I don't know, but when that happens, when you see that happening, just know a lot of love for you. Yeah. This is the final week for the special envelope collection for the Dignity Project. I think we've got a slide. Yeah, thank you, Catherine. The Dignity Project is there to make available things that somebody might feel like, I need this, but it's not part of what I'm being given on the social services that I'm signed up for. And so costly hygiene, birth control items, it's a welcome resource in this community that we are helping to make possible. A lot of this is exactly what we're doing now by providing the funds necessary, but also the folks who have volunteered to make it possible for these things to be distributed where they need to be. In this time of our offering, we know we also can drop things into the basket. I explained to a potential visitor that you don't have to put anything in there. We offer worship to everyone without any financial requirement, but we know that it's an exercise of the heart to be giving. And so every week we have this opportunity to give to this place and its role in the world with our young people, with our neighbors, with our broader community. We now receive the morning offering. Thank you, Dick.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Susan. For all that is given in love, we receive with great joy. Thank you. On a summer day, sometimes the deepest connection and prayers come when you feel a breeze blowing through the leaves. If that is in your mind your space of centeredness, I invite you to go there now. If it's something else and some other discipline, in whatever ways to center yourselves, gather yourselves in, this is our time of prayer and meditation. Spirit of love and life, we who are gathered here this morning come with our hearts full of joy and recognition for those who are growing among us, for those who have found inch by inch, month by month, year by year, a way into greater responsibilities in this world, the chances to go off to camp or to take on jobs, the opportunities to show responsibility and maturity, the wonders of the ways in which we see those grow among us. O Spirit of love and life, we are grateful in whatever ways we can be part of the lives of the many. Spirit of love and life, look over these people and look over us as we run our camp this week. May we be always making a difference and opening hearts and minds. Spirit of love and life, we also this morning know that there are transitions in our lives that are harder. Aging bodies, the recognition for those who are moving into more intensive nursing care or who have medical procedures laid out in front of them, or continued improvement after surgeries. This morning, we lift up in particular the names of Barbara and Bob and Eric, and we know that the many others who are here or online with us are in those moments of needing to know our love going their direction. Spirit of love and life, our transitions in life also lead us to know the grief that Jamie and Jax are feeling, the loss of Buddy, husband and father. For all who may know those who have passed away, this is part of the cycle of life to welcome the new and to hold in our hearts the memories of those who have meant something to us as they go. These, the prayers of our hearts, the meditations of our minds, we hold now in the silence. in the names of all those known and unknown, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind, we say, Amen, blessed be. This is a reading called The Bridge Builder by Will Allen Dromgoole, and the source is from Father, an Anthology of Verse by E.P. Dutton and Company, 1931. An old man going a lone highway came at evening cold and gray to a chasm vast and deep and wide, through which was flowing a sullen tide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim. The sullen stream had no fear for him. But he turned when safe on the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, said a fellow pilgrim near, you are wasting your strength with building here. Your journey will end with the passing day. You never again will pass this way. You've crossed the chasm deep and wide. Why build this bridge at evening tide? The builder lifted his old gray head. Good friend, in the path I have come, he said, there followed after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm that has been as naught to me, to that fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He, too, must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I am building this bridge for him.
So in lieu of this sort of rock and roll number that we had scheduled, we will play a song that we have played here before. Called I Can't Wait. Someday we'll roll away the stone we have carried for so long. All our burdens will be gone. I can't wait. We will find our way to an understanding of all views. No prayer shall be refused. I can't wait. It seems we've gone too far, and now we don't know where we are. I believe we'll find a guiding star. I can't wait. If faith is the final place where all fears have been erased and the locks have fallen from the gates, I can't wait. Someday we'll roll away the stone we have carried for so long. all our burdens will be gone. I can't wait. We will find our way to an understanding of all views. No prayer shall be refused. I can't wait.
Thank you so much. Well, the sermon on bridge building is when I have preached a version of this before. Somebody once asked a minister, they had a brand new minister arrive. I think it was a congregation in Maine. Sometimes congregations in Maine got the young green ones who didn't quite know what to do yet. And the minister had this rousing sermon, and everybody said, "That's a fine sermon. Pastor, we're so glad you're with us." And then the next week, the pastor repeated the sermon, and they're all kind of like, "Well, yeah, I mean, it's still a good sermon, but we kind of already heard it." And finally, the third Sunday row, the minister's preaching it, and the people say to the board, "You have to talk to this minister." 3 times in a row, same sermon. The board said, "You've been preaching the same sermon 3 times in a row. We kind of like something different." And the minister turned to him and said, "Well, I'll stop preaching this one when you finally do what I said in the sermon." So if you hear the same sermon from me and this one, all right, here you go. Now, I have this phrase that I thought that I heard. No new bridge is shorter or narrower than that which it replaces. Now, I see that as a religious liberal as a very opening thing. You start with maybe you look back in a National Geographic and you see something of a rope bridge across a chasm. But as people get used to going across the rope bridge, now they want to have something a little more sturdy, and they want to get an ox cart across as well. And even in our society, our travels, Christy and I, for vacation so far, come to construction zones, and this lane is closed, and that, everything going on. It doesn't seem like they're going to make 26 any narrower. It doesn't seem like any of the bridges out there that we went through South Carolina, they've got what's obviously one of those temporary army bridges. They're still rebuilding in some of the areas that got washed out. I don't think that's going to be the same width bridge as the Conservation Corps was putting in the 1930s. I think it's going to be bigger, longer, wider. And yet, I go online and I see the exact opposite happening with the way in which we're being encouraged to live by our leaders in society, and that is to get narrower. Build higher walls, keep people away, don't build any bridges. In fact, back in the old days when I was a kid in the 1960s, we'd be on turnpikes. And every few miles, we'd have to stop and throw a quarter into a basket, and a gate would go up, and then we could go. And then after a while, they decided that they didn't want us to do that anymore, but I feel like we're going back to that. There was some kind of joke going around at the time, and I didn't quite understand it as a kid, but maybe I understood it better as the Cold War was progressing, that some Russian tourists were coming, and they saw that everybody was slowing down to come to the gates, and they're saying, "I don't have my papers with me. I don't have my papers with me." And the Americans said, "You don't need papers." And they tossed the quarter, and they went through. I'm feeling like we've turned our society back so that joke doesn't make sense anymore. We got to have our papers with us, or a whole lot of people do. So we got narrower connections between people. And we've got a sense of limited liberties for some folks who've been labeled in some way as just, no, you don't belong here. And we've had that issue in times past. We've had folks who've arrived and said, we're the first ones here, now we're closing the doors. We've had folks who have said, we were religiously persecuted where we were before, and we're not going to have that where we go next. And they set up a colony, and then they decide which other religious people they want to kick out of their colony. It's probably woven into our fabric as people to know that there are times when we close the door on someone else, or we block the bridge, or we build the fences and the walls. It's interesting to know the religious connections we have around the world. There is a Unitarian Universalist international group and partner organizations. And this old quote from Fulgence Nadjinamana from the Assemblies des Chrétiens Unitariens du Burundi, at least I got, says, when people meet, endless possibilities emerge, new cultural experiences and openness to new ways of understanding and doing things, a special attention to the other, and a sense of service beyond self develop. Let's have the openness, the willingness to grow, enriching curiosity, and active cooperation. Let's have those things. Now, that program, I believe, is still going, but it used to be that you could have the chalice lighting of the month from that group, and I haven't seen that lately. There's some sense that we've lost some of the connection, and learning from the wisdom from around the world to include as we open up our Unitarian Universalist religious services. I'm going to end with another set of words, this one from Deutsche Unitaria Religionsgemeinschaft, as it was called at the time I got the quote, and they've now changed their names as Unitaria-Religionsgemeinschaft Freien Glaubens, or the Unitarians Religious Community of Free Faith. It was organized in Germany, founded in 1876. I'm going to close with words from there, so you know you got more of this diversity out there. But for now, I want to say something from a song. You know Naomi Judd? Okay, and so Naomi Judd and John Barlow Jarvis and Paul Overstreet, and it's called Love Can Build a Bridge. And it was from Warner Chappell Music, copyrighted from them. And I'm not going to sing it to you, but I'm going to recite the first verse and chorus. I'll gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet to share with you the last bite of bread that I had to eat. I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams when all your hopes are sinking. Let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? And it goes on from there. But we have, in the yearnings of the songs that are out there in our world, we have the yearnings to say, I don't care what other people are telling you about hating each other or being afraid of each other. Love can build a bridge, and I will be there for you. Now, one of my colleagues who, talk about transitions and growth and time passing, one of my colleagues of the name Tom Shade, Tom and his wife and their teen daughter were in the Dallas church when I moved there in the 90s. He helped unload boxes from the moving truck, kind of welcome new minister or associate minister to our place. And he was entering at that time theological school. So it was kind of a welcome the new minister and, hey, I'm going to be doing what you're doing, kind of thing. Years later, when he'd had a long experience in publishing and writing in ministry, he started writing for the UU World, and he had a couple articles in there that relate to this idea of bridge building and religious community. Now, we might have no problem at all singing "Love Can Build a Bridge" to each other in this circle, in this beloved community that we have. The problem is, Tom is pointing out, and I'm going to read a good chunk of what he was pointing out, that's not enough for us to have the nice stuff in here. We need more than that. So he said back in 2014, being a community is thinking small. Our ultimate goals and purpose cannot simply be about ourselves. Unitarian Universalists, like members of every other religion, are trying to change the world by encouraging people to live in a different way. By word and by deed, Unitarian Universalists are trying to change people. It's time for us to acknowledge and proclaim this and to see that building a religious community is but a means to that larger end. Yes, we do think a liberal religion offers a better way to live. We think that openness and hospitality are better ways to live than shouting, "Get off my lawn." He's funny. He really is. We think that humility is a better way to live than my way or the highway. We think that gratitude and generosity are better ways to live than I got mine, you're on your own. We think that compassion is a better way to live than here's a quarter. Go call somebody who cares. Now, I know that we have people in the building who aren't old enough to understand that phrase. We think that honesty and living in truth are better ways to live than propaganda and denial and comforting stories. Oh, I love the way he pulled them all together. Propaganda, denial, and comforting stories. Ooh. We think that self-possession is a better way to live than following the crowd or habit or unconscious compulsion. We think that awe and reverence are better responses to the world than meh. Liberal religion has a purpose and is bigger than we think, and certainly bigger than gathering with like-minded people for mutual support. That last part burns. It's certainly bigger than gathering with like-minded people for mutual support. We're here for a purpose. We're here for a reason. What we do here is supposed to help us be more like the person in the poem that I read, who says, somebody's coming after me. I'm going to build the bridge for the person coming along next. Now, it's appropriate for a senior graduation recognition to be saying this out loud. So yeah, if I'm pulling at your heartstrings here, go over and look at Keith and said, oh, I hope we were building a bridge for you, and what, you know. But you can turn to the new child in arms who came to visit our nursery for the first time today, or you can turn and look to Eli or Jackson or any of the kids back helping to set up in the back room back there. And you can say, how am I building across the chasm? And this chasm is something that has been getting wider and wider for a decade. Tom wrote an article just before the 2016 elections. And he said something really, I thought, timeless, unfortunately timeless in what he was saying about the people and what he was hearing in the political climate at that moment. The Furious, he calls the group the Furious, describe themselves as rebels against an overbearing political correctness. The furious resistance, even to talk about systemic oppression, is the fire that burns at the heart of the political campaign. Many rail against political correctness because dehumanizing language is necessary to maintain systemic oppression. But our evolution as Unitarian Universalists has been to learn that systemic oppression is itself the barrier to our high ideals. This is not a mere difference of political opinion, not a test of our inclusiveness. People look to their religious traditions to point to what is truly important now and the long run. Our religious affirmations, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, of every race and gender and sexual orientation and background and religion and immigration status especially, are being tested. The only way forward for Unitarian Universalists is to dissect and dismantle the systems of oppression that have warped our country since the beginning. And the faith we need is the faith that a liberated people can create a different future. "2016. Still sounds right today. I hate that it still sounds right today. Why would I keep preaching this sermon? Because it still sounds right today. Because each one of us needs to be part of that transformation that so many folks are afraid of. The closer and closer we come to dismantling the systemic oppression, the DEI work that has been done, whatever phrase you put on this, the closer we come to that, the more we get to the heart of people's fears. Once they do that, will I matter? And I think I've said this out loud to you. It's really hard that if all the work that is being said out there is that there really isn't anything superior based on your skin color or your gender or whatever else folks have been told. If folks have clung on to the idea that at least they have their skin color, even if they're poor and downtrodden, at least they have whatever their history, it's ours. You know that, right? That by presidential decree, history teachers in schools can only talk an uplifting story of our history. If you take away the bits and pieces for a whole people who are furious that they will no longer be valued, if you take away their whiteness, if you threaten to take away some of their male superiority feeling, if you threaten to take away from somebody else what they believe is the only thing that is a gem of making them of value in this world, without having built a bridge first to their hearts, to their respect, of course you're going to get pushback. Building bridges is what was happening during the floods. When I went to the General Assembly and was in conversation with people and they'd ask, oh, were you affected? Oh, you're out near Asheville? Oh, okay, were you affected? Because they saw it on the news constantly. They saw everything washed away. And I said, that was a key moment during the presidential campaign in which we suddenly weren't watching TV and we weren't trying to build up barriers between us and our neighbors. We had to survive in connecting with our neighbors. We had to take people as worthy in walking the path with us. We built bridges with one another, and I've told you about my own personal experience standing by the floodwaters trapped in our neighborhood. We had a gap in the constant propaganda that reminded us that we're people. And we could be wiped out altogether. It didn't matter what politics we had or what vocabulary we used. We are all real people, and we have to have each other to survive. If this area forgets that moment, if you forget that moment, it will be much harder for you to think of building a bridge. And if we forget how to build a bridge, then we will not be anything more than that lovely little beloved community that really doesn't make a difference. Because we're going to be thinking about surviving instead of bringing some thriving to our world. So yeah, I'll probably preach this one again and again. There's Bob again. It was a nice sermon the first time. Thank you for being a safe place for each other. As Rumi said, beyond right thinking and wrong thinking, there is a field. I will meet you there. May we find that field, even with those neighbors we might not otherwise think of inviting to conversation and meeting. I invite you to sing. We're going to sing it 3 times through. I know it's supposed to be around, but I think we're going to do it the simple way and just sing it 3 times through, Building Bridges. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we would make such sweet harmony. As I extinguish our chalice, let's read together in unison our closing words, again from that German Unitarian group. Sometimes the vision we share for compassion and community is bigger than our actual hearts. Often our hopes for a just society that is both free and responsible exceeds what we actually do to create it. But may we never let our failing and floundering keep us from seeking again and again to live out in concrete deeds the hopes and dreams of our collective heart. Though this service is over, our striving continues. May the remembered light of this flame give us courage for the journey.
Thanks for sticking around.